Hello everyone, this is Joy and today we are going to learn about loops in Bash scripting. Imagine you have a list of files to process or a set of commands to execute repeatedly. The loop in Bash simplifies this by automating the process. It iterates over a list of elements, executing a block of code for each element. We will cover different types of loops in this series and will demonstrate practical examples to help you understand how to use them in your scripts. Bash offers various loops constructs like for, while, until, and select. But in this video, we will concentrate on the for loop only. So let's get started. First, let me show you the basic syntax of the for loop. So this is the basic syntax for the for loop. Here the for statement starts the loop and defines a variable item that will take on each value from the list one by one. This list can be a sequence of values separated by spaces or it can be generated dynamically. Next we have the do keyword which begins the block of commands to be executed for each item in the list. The commands inside the do block will be executed once for each value of item. The commands block contains the instruction that you want to execute for each of these items. Finally, the done keyword signifies the end of the for loop. So now let's start with a simple example where we iterate over a list of names and print a greeting for each name. So here in this script, this line initializes the for loop. The variable name will take on each value in the list. This list contains three names, Alice, Bob, and Charlie. The commands within the do block will be executed for each value of the name. Inside the loop block, we use the echo command to print a greeting message. The variable name is replaced with the current value of the name in each iteration. So during the first iteration, it will be Alice, and in the second iteration, it will be Bob, and finally it will be Charlie. So let's run this code and see what it prints. So when you run this script, it will print hello Alice, hello Bob, and hello Charlie one by one. Now you can also use a range of numbers in a for loop. For example, let's create a script that prints numbers from 1 to 5. So here in this loop, the variable I will take on each value in the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one by one. Inside the loop block, the echo command will print a message that includes the current value of I. So during the first iteration, it will be 1, then in the second it will be 2 and so on up to 5. The sleep command pauses the execution of the script for a specified number of seconds. In this case, the sleep 1 pauses the script for 1 second. So let's run the script. So as you can see, this script prints 1 to 5 with the interval of 1 second. This whole script can also be written in a more compact way like this. So here I use the brace expansion, a concise way to generate a sequence of numbers. Here it expands to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So the loop variable I will hold each of these values during each iteration. So let's run the script. So this is how you can print list of numbers using for loop. Now let's say you want to print the odd numbers only, that is 1, 3 and 5. So you have to modify the code in such a way that the variable I is increased by a value of 2 in each cycle. For this you need to add an increment in the braces expansion. So in the braces expansion, to add the increment, you have to add this dot dot 2. So it will increase the value of I by 2 in each iteration. So let's run this code. So now as you can see, the script prints 1, 3 and 5, only odd numbers. Bash also supports a C-style for loop syntax, which is similar to for loops in C and C++ and Java. So let me show an example script. So in this script, we initialize I to 1 and the loop continues as long as I is less than or equals to 5. After each iteration, I is incremented by 1, which is done by this increment operator I++. And in the do block, it prints the value of the variable I in each iteration. So let's run the script. So now as you can see, it prints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each iteration, that is the value of the variable I after 1 second. Another common use for loops in Bash is to iterate over files and directories. Let's create a script that lists all the text files in the current directory. So I am in this directory right now, and in this present directory, I have these files. So there are several text files and EPS and PDF files. So let's say among these different kinds of files, I only want to process the files with the .txt extensions. So let's write a script for this that only processes the files with .txt extension. So in this script, I used the wildcard expression that expands to all files with the .txt extension in the current directory. And this list is stored in this variable file. So in each iteration, this file variable will contain the name of different text files and prints a message for each file, that is processing that particular file. So let's run this script. So now as you can see, this is processing only the text file, that is file 1, file 3 and file 6 with .txt extensions. So this is how you can use for loop to process a particular kind of files. Now for loop in Bash can also be nested. Nested loops allow us to perform repeated operations within other repeated operations. Let me show an example script of nested for loop. So in this script, we have one outer for loop and one inner for loop and two different variables I and j for each loop. This variable I takes on the values 1, 2 and 3 in each iteration of the outer loop. And the variable j in the inner loop also takes the values 1, 2 and 3 in each iteration. Now this echo command performs the core functionality within the inner loop. This option -n with echo suppresses the new line character after printing. Now this done indicates the end of the inner loop. And this echo ensures that the next set of results from the outer loop iteration starts on a new line. And finally, we have this done, which indicates the end of the outer loop. So now let's run this code. So in the first iteration of the outer loop, the value of I was 1 and j varies from 1 to 3. So 1 times 1 is 1, then 1 times 2 is 2 and 1 times 3 is 3. Now for the next iteration of the outer loop, the value of I is 2. So now again it multiplies with j for the values of 1, 2 and 3. 2 times 1 is 2, then 2 times 2 4 and 2 times 3 is 6. Like this, in the last iteration, when the value of I in the outer loop is 3, it also multiplies with j with 1, 2 and 3 and it produces 3, 6 and 9. So nested loops are essential when we need to perform operations that require multiple levels of iteration. In this case, we use nested loops to create a multiplication table. The outer loop iterates over the rows and the inner loop iterates over the columns, allowing us to generate the product of each cell in the table. So that's all for today on for loop in Bash scripting. We have covered different types of for loops, including iterating over list, range of numbers, files, and even nested loops. And thanks for joining this tutorial on for loop. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bash scripting ideas. So see you in the next video.